This box smelled like old shoes and broken dreams. $5, I said loud enough for the garage salewoman to hear. She laughed behind her coffee cup. The box was falling apart, taped at the corners, dusty, covered in old shipping labels. It didn't look like anything special, but I'd promised myself to try new things. After my divorce, life had gotten too quiet. Not peaceful quiet, just empty. I needed something different, and this neighborhood garage sale was the only thing that got me out of bed on a Saturday. "What's inside?" I asked as I pulled out a 5. She shrugged. Whatever my uncle left behind when he died. Could be junk. Could be treasure. Probably junk. I carried the box to my car and set it in the trunk next to a plant stand I didn't need. I didn't open the box right away. Not because I was excited, I just forgot. Around 2 p.m., I finally sliced through. The brittle tape with a knife. The smell hit first. Musty, like an old barn mixed with wood shavings. I opened it slowly, and then it blinked at me. Golden eyes stared from the dark corner. A real living cat, curled in an old blanket. He wore a loose collar with a tag. Oliver. "Oh man," I whispered. "You were in there the whole time?" He didn't move, just blinked. I reached for the blanket. He didn't run. After a minute, he let me touch him. His fur was warm. "Okay, Oliver," I said. "We'll figure this out." I gave him water. He drank. I offered turkey. He sniffed and turned away. I tried calling the garage salewoman, no answer. I dug out an old cat carrier my ex had left behind. Oliver walked in without a fuss. I drove to the local vet's office. The receptionist blinked in surprise as I placed the carrier on the counter. "You found him like that?" "In a box." "Bought the box for $5, I said. "Didn't know it came with a cat." Dr. Martinez came out 20 minutes later. "He's healthy, bit dehydrated, but nothing serious. No microchip though, no chip. Nope, just the collar. He's a mystery, but a healthy one. You can take him home if you want." I agreed before thinking twice. Back home, I set up an old litter, box and a cat tree. Oliver wandered slowly. Living room to hallway to kitchen, a slow circle. That night he curled at the foot of my bed. I slept better than I had in months. The next morning I found him sitting in the middle of the rug, staring at the box he came in. "What is it?" I asked. I picked it up, felt along the seams. That's when I found it, a small envelope taped inside. I opened it. A photo. An older man in a recliner with Oliver in his lap. On the back, "If you're reading this, thank you for taking care of my boy. He's got a quiet heart but loves deeply. Arthur." I sat down hard. Oliver jumped up beside me and rested his head on my leg. I didn't realize I was crying until a tear hit the photo. "All right, Arthur," I whispered. "You've got a deal." The next few days felt different. Not dramatic, just enough to notice. I found myself talking to Oliver. Not in a cutesy pet voice, just like he was someone who didn't talk back. "Looks like rain," I'd say. Or, "Think the neighbor's ever going to finish painting those shutters?" Oliver never responded, but he always looked like he understood. He followed me everywhere. When I worked at the kitchen table, he sat by the wall. When I did laundry, he lounged on the dryer. When I went to bed, he curled up at the foot. I hadn't realized how long it had been since I'd felt that kind of presence. Someone choosing to just be around. It made the silence less heavy. The garage salewoman finally called back. Her voice was raspy, but friendly. "Hey, this is Carol. You bought that old box, right?" "There was a cat inside," I told her. "Name's Oliver. There was a note from someone named Arthur. Arthur was my uncle. Passed last spring. I didn't know he had a cat. Do you want him back?" I asked, though I hoped she'd say no. "Nah. If he's with you and safe, sounds like that's what Arthur wanted." One morning, Oliver sat by the bookshelf, tail flicking slowly, staring like it had offended him. "What's the deal?" I asked. "There's nothing there." He glanced at me, then back at the shelf. I crouched and looked between the books. Mostly old novels, cookbooks, dusty photo albums. Then I saw it. A small slip of paper wedged behind some paperbacks. I pulled it out, A receipt from a hardware store in a town I didn't recognize, dated about 10 years ago. On the back, in the same handwriting, "The memories live where the window used to be. You're some kind of treasure hunt guide, aren't you?" I said. Oliver blinked again. That evening I found myself digging through boxes in the garage. There was an old workbench, dusty shelves, a tarp. Then I noticed it. Drywall at the back wall, painted but not matching the rest. I tapped it. Hollow. Got a screwdriver, pried. At the edge. A panel came loose, revealing a boarded-up window frame. A gap at the bottom held a small cigar box. Inside were dozens of photos, black and white, sepia, Polaroids, all of Arthur and Oliver. Some from when Oliver was a kitten perched on Arthur's shoulder, others on benches, walking paths, all quiet and close. At the bottom was another note. "If you found this, then Oliver still trusts you. Thank you. These are our memories. Please let them live." I didn't cry this time. I sat on the garage floor, cross-legged like a kid, and looked through every photo. Later that night, I scanned the best ones, printed copies, bought cheap frames from the dollar store, and hung them in the hallway. Sometimes Oliver would stop and stare like he remembered. It became a quiet routine, Oliver and I discovering pieces of Arthur's story. Notes in books, scribbles on receipts, even a message under a drawer lining. Forgiveness is for the living. I began to feel like I was part of something more than just adopting a cat. Like I'd stepped into a life that had paused, waiting to begin again. Not just Arthur's story, but mine too. One Saturday I brought Oliver to the park. I carried him in an old bag, zipper open so he could peek out. We sat near the fountain. An older man with a walking stick paused. "Well, I'll be," he said. "That looks like Art's old cat." My heart skipped. "You knew Arthur?" He nodded. "Worked with him down at the depot. Quiet guy, always had that cat with him. Called him Ollie." "He passed," I said. "I found Oliver in a box of his things." The man smiled. "Art always said if he went first. He hoped someone would look after Ollie. Looks like he got his wish." We stayed until the sun began to set. I hadn't felt that connected to the world in years. Like Arthur hadn't just left Oliver to be cared for, but to help someone else begin again. That week, I noticed a calico stray in my backyard. She was scrappy and fast, always hiding behind the rose bush. Oliver noticed her too, watching with quiet interest. Every morning he'd sit at the window. I started leaving food out. It disappeared by morning. I waited one day and saw her, nervous, thin, alert. She approached the bowl while Oliver sat still. A week later she was waiting on the porch. I named her Luna. Eventually Luna started, coming inside. At first just the kitchen. One day I found her asleep in the laundry basket. I took her to the vet, healthy but had been on her own a while. No microchip, just like Oliver. The two of them fell into an easy rhythm. Oliver kept to his routines. Luna preferred corners and sunbeams. I started to feel like I had a family. Again, one Sunday, I visited the library. Mrs. Anderson was still there, white hair, same glasses. "You're Robert Mitchell's boy, aren't you?" "Guilty," I said. "Been a while. Thought you moved away." "I did," I said. "But now I'm back, sort of." I told her about Oliver, the general shape of it. She listened patiently. "Sounds like he found you at just the right time," she said. I checked out a few books. At home, I'd sit in the armchair with Oliver on the backrest, Luna on the rug. Old jazz played from a thrift store record. While sorting a drawer, I found an envelope labeled Arthur. Brought me. Quiet mornings, warm evenings, and a reason to be steady. Arthur Coleman. One afternoon, the doorbell rang. A man stood on the porch. Mid-50s, jeans, and a work jacket. "Sorry to bother you. Name's Mark Coleman. I was told you might have something that belonged to my father." My heart skipped. "Arthur. Sorry for the interruption. Before we continue with the story, I kindly ask you to like the video and subscribe to this channel. It is very important for us. Thank you very much." "Yeah." Someone said a man picked up a box with Oliver in it. We sat in the living room. I brought out the cigar box with the letters. Mark read through them slowly, his fingers tightening as he turned each page. I left, he said when he finished. Never called, not even when Mom passed. I was angry, he was stubborn. I always thought he didn't care. He tapped the box. Guess I was wrong. He didn't ask for the box or Oliver. Instead, he asked if he could visit sometimes. After he left, the house felt full in a new way. I started writing in a journal, labeling each note for the next soul who needs to find something. Because life wasn't just about what you kept. It was about what you left behind. That spring, something changed in Oliver. He moved slower, sat longer in places, watched the windows more than he watched me. It was like he was waiting for something just beyond the glass. I tried not to worry. He still came when I called, still curled on the couch when I read aloud. But there was a new calmness to him, softer, almost distant. I found another note taped inside a record sleeve. If this music finds you on a quiet day, listen all the way through. Some things aren't meant to be rushed. I played the Miles Davis record that evening. Oliver lay in the center of the rug, Luna beside the speaker. I just listened. The music filled the house like water, every note deliberate. A few days later, I got a letter in the mail with no return address. Inside was a photo of Oliver as a kitten in a shoebox, a note underneath. He always liked boxes. Don't let him fool you. He chooses his people. Mark visited again, bringing coffee and pastries. He's slowing down, Mark said, watching Oliver doze in the sun. Yeah, I've noticed. My dad once told me Oliver was the only soul he trusted. With silence. When Mark left, he placed his hand on Oliver's head for the first time. You did good, old man. You stayed true. I took Oliver to the vet, not because anything was wrong, but because I wanted to be sure. He's getting older, Dr. Martinez said gently. Cats like Oliver carry a lot emotionally. He's a listener. That kind always burns quieter, faster. Is there anything I should do? Just be with him. Keep the routine. Keep the warmth. He'll tell you when he needs more. We spent that week doing nothing special, just living. I made soup, played records, wrote notes. Every time Oliver sat beside me, I paid attention. One night, while cleaning, I found a hand-drawn map behind the bookcase. Places were circled in red, lines connecting them. The corner read, "For the wanderer with open eyes." Some spots I recognized, others were new. That night, Oliver lay on my chest for the first time, his head resting near my heart. I closed my eyes and didn't move because I knew that whatever journey was ahead, whatever thread Oliver had carried forward, it was still unfolding. One morning I woke to the sound of rain. Luna was pressed against my side. Oliver curled at the foot of the bed. The light was gray and gentle, like the world had lowered its voice for something sacred. When I got up, Oliver didn't follow like usual. He stayed on the bed watching me. I ran my fingers along his back. I know, I said. I feel it too. There was something in the air, an end of a chapter. Not heavy or sad, just real. Oliver joined us later, moving slowly, like each step was a thought he had to finish. He climbed onto his favorite blanket by the window and lay down, stretched out like he'd been waiting for this spot, this hour, this rain. I sat on the floor beside him. We stayed like that most of the morning. I just listened, to the rain, to the house, to the small rhythm of Oliver's breath. As the sky darkened, Oliver stirred. He lifted his head one last time and looked at me. That slow blink, that steady gaze, like he saw the whole journey at once. Then he exhaled, not with struggle, but with peace. Luna climbed up beside him and pressed her nose to his cheek. The house didn't feel empty. It felt full. The next morning I buried Oliver beneath the lilac bush, wrapped in the old quilt he'd arrived in. I placed a smooth stone on top and pinned his collar on the wall beside the map. In the days that followed, I felt him everywhere. In the pauses between things, in the way Luna sometimes watched the window like something was there. Mark came by. We sat on the porch with Luna between us. I think he knew his time, Mark said. He did, and he gave me enough time to learn what I needed. Funny, I always thought I'd need years to fix things with my dad, but a few visits to see his cat changed that. Weeks later, I stepped onto the porch and saw a young girl kneeling by the mailbox. "Sorry," she said. "I was looking for a little rock with a line on it." I smiled. "Want to see where it pointed?" I handed her the notebook. "Start here. There's a story and it's not finished." I watched her open it, eyes wide, fingers careful. For the first time since Oliver passed, I felt something return. Not the same as before, but something new, something forward. That night, I played the Miles Davis record again. Did you enjoy this story? What's the best unexpected gift you've ever received? Let us know in the comments below. If you like the story, subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Sometimes when we help others, we end up helping ourselves. Love shared is love multiplied. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.